This screencast will provide you with an overview of the framework and rubrics for the proposed revisions to the DPAS 2 process and the new Colonial Teaching and Learning Framework. As mentioned previously, we have decided to reduce the number of rated items from 18 criteria to 5 standards, with these standards being professional knowledge and preparation, instructional delivery, assessment of and for learning, supportive learning environment, and professionalism. In the framework for each of the first 3 standards, you will notice 4 areas: the definition of the standard, the teacher performance indicators, sample student evidence, and optional content-specific indicators. Within the teacher performance indicators, there are several indicators. This is not to be used as a checklist, but as a guide for educators when providing feedback and determining a holistic rating in that area. We hope that this will encourage instructional conversations between the teacher and the evaluator. The indicators were identified by our work group as being most valuable to teaching and learning in Colonial, while also being best practice in education. Additionally, we are capturing sample student evidence to observe how this is translated into the classroom for students. And finally, we have a space for considering content-specific indicators that determine an educator's understanding of the curriculum and content. In professional knowledge and preparation, we are ensuring that every teacher has a foundational knowledge in the content, pedagogy, student development, and use of data when planning for instruction. In Performance Standard 2, Instructional Delivery, we are focusing on how the teacher facilitates learning in the classroom. There are a number of performance indicators in this area as well, including differentiating instruction, taking academic risks, integrating technology, and so on. Again, it's important to note that this is not an expectation that all indicators are evident during a lesson, but to provide a menu of possible indicators for that standard. In Performance Standard 3, Assessment of and for Learning, we are focusing on how teachers are using various data sources to make instructional decisions in their planning and in the classroom. In Performance Standard 4, Supportive Learning Environment, the focus is on how the teacher creates a safe and healthy atmosphere that encourages respect for all students. We did not include content-specific indicators in this standard. And finally, in Performance Standard 5, Professionalism. This focuses on similar indicators as our current model, with some modifications that reflect on best practice in education and what we value in Colonial. It's important to note that this standard is only rated specifically during the summative evaluation. However, evidence collection and feedback in this standard could occur throughout the year. With each of the performance standards comes an accompanying rubric to help teachers focus on their growth as professionals. This section will provide a brief overview of the rubrics. As you can see, the format of this rubric is different than the previous rubric in a couple of different ways. The language is simplified and common for Colonial educators. The rubric moves from right to left with level numbers serving as indicators. This was done intentionally to help teachers and evaluators understand that this is a focus on growth within the rubrics. In Level 4, there is an asterisk that indicates often teachers rated as Level 4 seek ways to serve as role models or teacher leaders. This is not to indicate that only teacher leaders could receive a Level 4, but we wanted to recognize the role of teacher leaders in our system. You will notice the mirroring of the language from the framework in the rubrics. We intentionally highlighted critical words and phrases at each level in the rubrics to show the difference between levels and to bring this to the attention of teachers and evaluators. Thank you for viewing this screencast on the framework and rubrics for the proposed Colonial Teaching and Learning Framework. These documents are available in the Teaching and Learning Frameworks resource folder in Schoology.